Next up on the Eddie Murphy Marathon, it is Vampire in Brooklyn. Now, it's directed by Wes Craven, and I miss Wes Craven. I liked Wes Craven. It was really sad when he passed away, because one of my favorite directors. I reviewed a couple of his films when he passed away. I didn't want to do the ones I didn't like because it just didn't feel right. But I reviewed the Scream films. I like the first Scream. I actually don't mind Scream 3. I think it's a little bit underrated. It's just me. Shocker. I fucking love Shocker. I reviewed that on this channel with Mitch Pileggi, Peter Bird. I love Shocker to death. Love it. No, Mr. Nice Guy. The People Under the Stairs, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, all films I highly enjoy. I'm not really big on The Last House on the Left that he did because I thought it was an inconsistent tone with rape movie, but then goofy cops falling off of chicken trucks with very inconsistent. Just like, what are you trying to do? Hills of Eyes, I actually prefer the remake. Granted, when I had my beer out and didn't shave my head, the lead guy in the remake kind of looked like me. But I don't know, I like the Alexander Aja sort of almost spaghetti western type of feel he was going, especially in the third act with the music. I like that more than the original Hills of Eyes. Deadly Friend was a missed opportunity, sort of a mixed reaction. Just terrible ending in that film. Deadly Friend. Deadly Blessing was alright, but then you had this stupid ending, which Wes Craven didn't want. He was forced into it. But overall, there are quite a few films of his I like. This is not one of them. Just all that said, this isn't one of them. Eddie Murphy at this time. Okay, I have a Wes Craven book. And from what I understand, Wes Craven did it because he got the chance to work on a bigger studio film, which this was Paramount. I think this was one of the last Paramount films he did before going on to The Nutty Professor and things of that nature with another studio. But Wes got to work on a bigger studio film. Apparently Eddie Murphy wanted to work with him because he enjoyed The Serpent and the Rainbow and The Hills of Eyes. And Wes is like, okay, get to do a comedy a bit different and get to work with a big Hollywood star like Eddie Murphy. On the flip side, Eddie Murphy at this point, he wanted to do something different. He wanted to do a film where he played a villain. He wanted to do a straightforward, scary horror film. He didn't want really any comedy in it. But Paramount and Wes, they kind of wanted it more of a comedy. So you have this poll where Eddie wants a serious horror film, Wes in the studio wants a comedy, and then it just doesn't work. Because you have a horror film that's not scary, and you have a comedy that's not funny. And I know there are fans of this film. I'm sorry, I disagree. Kadeem Hardison as the Renfield type of character, I thought he was the only one that got some chuckles out of me. You know what? Maybe if the film was centered on his character alone and him reacting like Eddie Murphy would in The Golden Child to these strange goings, and you want to have Eddie as the villain and Kadeem Hardison as the hero, as from all his point of view, reacting like any of us would, maybe the film could work. Maybe. I mean, I remember when I first heard about this film. It was in, I think it was Cinescape magazine. And so, oh, Eddie Murphy in a new vampire comedy horror film. I'm like, oh shit. Because I thought it was going to be like The Golden Child meets Fright Night. You know, my favorite Eddie Murphy film is The Golden Child. And I was like, okay. Ordinary man, extraordinary circumstances, his natural reactions to these weird goings on. And a little bit of that you see in Fright Night, the original Fright Night with William Ragsdale and also Peter Vincent, the vampire killer. Like, that's a movie that did comedy and horror right. The right balance. Great movie, classic. One of my favorite vampire films is just the original Fright Night. So I thought, okay, like Eddie Murphy and his own Fright Night, that'd be really cool. But then we would have a cool movie. And of course, we don't. That's not fucking allowed because this film sucks. Pun intended. It sucks in Brooklyn. It sucks in Iowa. It sucks anywhere in the 50 fucking states. God damn it, man. You have this craft fest that wasn't funny, wasn't scary, and wasn't interesting. The lead characters, Angela Bassett, was boring. Her hubby, who they're both cops, this guy named Alan Payne, who was a pain in the ass to watch, bland and boring as fuck. Fucking paint drying had more personality than this fucking guy. I don't know why they thought this guy could. But I don't know what. Did he know someone? Was it someone's favor to put him in the movie? Was he related to someone? And then the fact that, like, this is Eddie Murphy's story, and him and Charlie Murphy, may he rest in peace, they worked on the script. They gotta take the good bit of the blame for it. And I'm sorry, Eddie. I know you want to be a villain. There's a point he wanted to be Candyman. I know. Tony Todd is Candyman. You cannot be Candyman. I get it. You're a guy. You think of yourself as an actor. I understand. Believe me, I understand. And you want to do different things. Maybe you could work as a villain, but this wasn't it. Sometimes comedians can work as villains. Robin Williams, if you watch Insomnia, whether you like or dislike the film, Robin Williams did a good job in that. What was the one where he was the guy developing pictures? 1 Hour Photo. He gave a good performance in that movie. Robin Williams was creepy. Maybe you needed like a better script or better, I don't know, better something. I don't know. Maybe nowadays he could do it. Or if you want to play a villain, don't put into a vampire. Like make it like an actual. But some people just you don't buy as a villain. And Eddie Murphy has spent so much being the lovable, wise ass wisecracker. I don't know if he could pull off a villain. He doesn't really do that here. You don't really find him intimidating or scary. One of the nice things about the film is you have familiar faces from past Wes Craven flicks. Mitch Pileggi, shocker, Horace Painter himself, as a guy ready to fuck up Kadeem Hardison. And Eddie Murphy rips his heart out, where he says, like, if you don't kill someone, put a little heart into it, after doing his Temple of Doom impression. Wendy Roby, I believe is her name, the woman from The People Under the Stairs, she makes an appearance where they're at a police station and Eddie Murphy sort of makes her do some crazy shit so he can leave. Zakes Mokae, he was the villain in The Serpent and the Rainbow. He makes an appearance here. So it's nice seeing a couple of these familiar faces. But I mean, the movie starts out with a ship crashing in, and you have Kadeem Hardison, John Witherspoon. They work at the docks. Again, I think if you're going in this route, if you have to go in this route, if this is what you have to play with, Kadeem Hardison and John Witherspoon, just have the entire movie, have them be the characters. And you need to develop the characters more to make them a little bit more three-dimensional. but have it be their reactions, their thoughts, their what's going on, but also the comedy aspect. And no Angela Bassett, which I think she was terrible in certain scenes where she's just going over the top. Or for a cop, she seemed rather weak and crybaby a lot. Like, you're a fucking cop. You know, butch up or something, man. Woman. Like, Angela Bassett's cop characters seem so fucking weak and crybaby. So no Angela Bassett. I don't give a fuck about the romantic angle. Because Eddie Murphy, she's the last vampire. But there's like another like half human, half vampire. Eddie Murphy wants to find her and be his mate. So he travels to Brooklyn, finds out there's Angela Bassett. Even that cover fucking sucks. Lazy fucking cover. And I'm sorry, like Eddie Murphy later said, oh, it was the wig. I don't give a fuck about your wig. I don't give a fuck about your hair. Honestly, I found no problems with Eddie Murphy's wig. It's the entire fucking direction of the concept. It's either it should have been you in your Golden Child type of movie, or maybe eliminate scenes like you playing multiple fucking characters again, which you did in Coming to America. You would do next in The Night Professor, where you're this preacher, and you're just going on for what feels like 10 minutes about evil's good. Ass is good. If you have evil ass, that's even better. Yeah, you wanna know what evil ass is? This fucking movie just is farting in your face. It stinks. This really stinks. No wonder talking about evil ass so much because it's stinking up the fucking joint. And also, it doesn't help that you have this vampire movie came out like October of '95, and then a few months later in '96, you get another vampire movie, which is a lot better of a vampire movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. So like months later, you see From Dusk Till Dawn. It's like that's how you do a vampire film right. There's some humor in that. There's some funny bits in that. But it's a fucking badass, entertaining, and a lot better fucking vampire movie than this. So just go watch From Dusk Till Dawn. That's one of my favorite vampire movies. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. But this one, Angela Bassett, she's awful. Alan Payne is a bland lead, bland as fuck. You don't give a shit about their characters, whether they will or won't get together. I'm like, if these characters fucking died and this was a downbeat ending, I wouldn't give a shit. I'm the guy that hates downbeat endings, but here I wouldn't care. Sure, let Eddie Murphy win. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit about Eddie Murphy wanting and needing a boner for Angela Bassett's character. I don't give a shit about anything dealing with their characters, dealing with their love plots, their romantic plots. Yeah, have a plot in the ground and just bury your ass alive and stay there. I would give two shits. One on both Angela Bassett's character and another shit on Alan Payne's character. Because they're shitty fucking characters. Whether it be the writing, whether it be the performances, whether it be both. If you like Angela Bassett, Alan Payne, you throw those fucking characters out, I think it would help a lot. And if you don't think Kadeem Hardison's funny, fine. I found a couple of stuff fine. Early on, when the boat crashes into where he's working at, he's running away. Mitch Pileggi's there. Hey, you owe me money. Kadeem Hardison's like, oh, please don't hurt me. I don't have kids. You don't have what? You don't have kids, asshole. I'll start. But his way he reacted, he had the energy that Eddie Murphy used to have. Or when Eddie Murphy's approaching Kadeem Hardison and Kadeem's going, hey, you ain't got to pull that black dude shit on me. How about this? Don't suck me. I'll run the TFC and do you two-piece. Or There's one moment that, like, a couple of his moments made me like smirk, like laugh a little bit. One moment, another moment that made me chuckle was when they're in the limo and Kadeem Hardison just keeps talking, and Eddie Murphy, this little thing fucking with his head, and like breaks the, because Eddie Murphy's character doesn't like mirrors, breaks the piece of mirror on the car. And just the, I don't know, just I guess the delivery of the lines made me chuckle. Where Eddie Murphy's like, drive the limo, shut your fucking mouth, shut the fuck up, god damn it. I don't know why, but just the way he said that, maybe it's not intentional to be funny, maybe it's unintentional, but it still made me chuckle. Because I've seen this a couple times wanting to like it, but it just hasn't happened. But each time, that one moment where it's like, the way Eddie Murphy said, shut the fuck up, god damn it. I don't just, the accent Eddie Murphy's doing, or what is it? Shut the fuck up, god damn it. I've kind of stolen that for real life. You know, the god damn it. I don't really do it in reviews because people are like, what the fuck are you referencing? Why are you saying it that way? But see, that's a tangent that I rather talk about that and repeat it 5 times than this stuff. John Witherspoon made me chuckle a couple times when he's talking to cops about what he saw. He saw a wolf jump and a shadow morph into a man, and the way he's explaining it, where you seen the wolf man? Yeah. To the 25th power? So there are those moments with Johnny Witherspoon and Kadeem Hardison. I wish those were the main characters. I wish those were the sole central main characters, and them having to weave through this bullshit and take out the romance, take out the love story, all that shit. Doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. It's not sexy. It's not interesting. It's not intriguing. The music is a bit too bombastic, over the top. I agree with my friend Mike OCP. Uh, I saw his review, OCP Communications. A lot of stuff he said I agree with. I just remembered, now that I think about it, Alan Payne, who is, him and Angela Bassett are cops in Brooklyn, and you tell they like each other, but they don't. Both at the end they'll deal with each other. And Alan Payne's character's name is Detective Justice. Justice. Like, writing wise, that's the best you can come up with. We have our good guy. Let's call him Justice. And he's a cop, too. So call him Detective Justice. Really. Really. And this, you don't care about Angela Bassett's visions. I don't care about Eddie Murphy's preacher character or the other character he plays, this white guy, this Guido. And I say that because that's how they list the fucking character in the credits. The character's literally listed as Guido. No name, no anything else. No, he's Sam or Tim or Alex or John. No, literally Guido. And I don't give a fuck about that character. And then at the end, Eddie Murphy, there's a point he changed to a monster. He looks like a fucking Klingon. Like, you're supposed to look like a badass vampire. You look like a fucking Klingon. I'm thinking you're 2 seconds away going to try to kick William Shatner off a fucking cliff. I have had enough of you. And just a lame ending that you don't give a fuck about. You don't give a fuck about Eddie the Vampire or Angela Bassett or Alan Payne in my ass. Eddie his vampire dies. Oh, the whole time Kadeem Hardison, Eddie has turned into a ghoul, so his ear falls off or his eye pops out, and he's looking more and more gross. But then when he finds the ring and puts it on from Eddie's, he turns to being fine again. But now he's also a vampire. And there's a new vampire in Brooklyn. And that's the way the movie ends. You know what? I'm fucking surprised they haven't done a direct-to-video sequel with Kadeem Hardison as a vampire. But really? Why are you surprised with that? Have you seen some of the fucking films they've done sequels to? They're like, wait a minute, the first film wasn't even a hit. So I'm just surprised. I know there's another film called Death by Temptation. I did not like that one either. That had a really shitty, like, downbeat ending. Didn't really care for Death by Temptation at all. Just watch Fright Night. Hell, I'd rather watch Dracula Dead and Loving It by Mel Brooks, a vampire comedy. I find that more entertaining than this fucking film. And again, it could have been great because you got, Eddie Murphy and vampires. Kadeem Hardison is talented. John Witherspoon I like, but just wasted on this crappy concept. Eddie as a vampire, I'm sorry, doesn't work. Just not steering. And I did. The movie's not scary. It's not that funny. The bits I chuckled at was Kadeem Hardison's character. And the story is over the top. I get that the atmosphere is trying to go with that moody bit to replicate past films. I really had no problems with that. I had no problems with the cinematography. Had no problems with the look of the film. It really didn't bother me. Okay. It's just more the concept and the script that I have the issues with. And maybe it is the cast. I don't know. Maybe if you had another person other than Angela Bassett. Or maybe Angela Bassett would have been fine if it was a better script. I don't know. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I gotta bear repeating. I think if you just 100% Kadeem Hardison, John Witherspoon's characters versus Eddie, maybe it could have worked. Or just have Beverly Hills Cop versus vampires. That'd be a Beverly Hills Cop movie I'd see. Beverly Hills Vamp. Actually, there is a movie called Beverly Hills Vamp. And there's a movie called Vamp with Grace Jones. So there you go. Hell, that would have been better than Beverly Hills Cop 3 now I think about it. I'd see that movie. But that's what I mean. That, to me, Eddie, you want to do something different. I get it. You don't want to be put into a box. I get it. But this was a failure, man. Hell, you could make a good, a better version of Bordello of Blood, with Dennis Miller. But imagine that movie. And Dennis Miller wasn't that bad in the film. Apparently, he was a gigantic asshole behind the scenes. But can you imagine that film with Eddie Murphy and then don't have a shitty ending? Like Bordello Blood, can you imagine Eddie Murphy reacting to these people, reacting to a bordello of female vampires, and fighting them with holy water, water soakers, water guns, and then don't have a stupid downbeat ending? I actually see that working. Eddie Murphy, Bordello Blood. You change a couple stuff. I really could, and that's what I would rather see. If you like the film, you feel free to let me know why. But lame fucking flick. I mean, you also have unfunny gags. Like, there's a point where there's a police dog. He does this, and the dog shoots up, and then you see far away the burned body, like the smoking body of the dead dog going into the water. And it's just, you really tell that it was two different points of view of whether it be a comedy or whether it be a horror film. And then they kind of cancel each other out because none of it works. There's definitely nothing in here to be scared or creeped out or any suspenseful sequences. But this is Wes Craven, so you know he's capable of it, but just not in this movie. And I think in the book, Wes Craven even said like he thought it was a pretty good film. He's not ashamed of it. I disagree, Wes. I'm sorry. May you rest in peace. I disagree. But hey, to each their own. But thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.